In the previous video, we saw Sejun and his friends reorganizing their outdoor farm after it was dug out by a monster during the blue moon. They level the field, and then Sejun plants peanut seeds there, which he got from the monthly seed store. Buying the peanut seeds for 5 tower coins allowed him to level it up, and he got the promise of more seeds the next time the store opens. After finishing the seed sowing, he covered the field with corn leaves, using them as mulch to reduce direct sunlight, and thus preserve the moisture in the soil. Sejun thought that he would not need to water the peanuts regularly now, so he set out to collect corn seeds for planting them next time. However, the baby rabbits disturbed him because they wanted to play, and he handed them tiny pouches filled with carrot slices so that they could give them to their hardworking siblings and parents. No one notices that a soul minotaur has entered their territory, commanded by the boss of the 99th floor to find out about the grass he brought earlier. The black minotaur had eaten the sweet potato tuber the minotaur accidentally carried back, and he commanded Ox number 3 to find the location where he got it, as it could be the hope for the survival of their species. Ox number 3 was afraid of his captain, so he obeyed him, but he also fears the mother Crimson Bear as he ventures into her territory. However, he forgets everything as he finds the corn leaves laid over the field. He is overwhelmed by the taste and picks up all the leaves to take them back to his boss. However, the giant Crimson Bear noticed him leave her territory, and she immediately contacted the tower manager, Aileen, who relayed the message to Sejun. When Sejun went outside, he was left speechless to see that the field was stripped bare of the corn leaf. Sejun and his friends look at their outside field, where the corn leaf mulch has all but been wiped away. He remarks that whoever stole the crops did a thorough job. Last night, he did not hear any kind of sound indicating the presence of a thief. The mother bear tells him something, and the tower manager interprets for her, stating that it was probably the doing of the vile horned monsters. Sejun is shocked to hear about the horned monster, and his mind immediately makes the connection that it was the same monster who dug his field during the blue moon, and he thinks that it was a troublesome situation. However, he is relieved that whoever the thief was, they only took the green leaves that were laid on top and left the field untouched otherwise. The black warrior rabbit understands that, but he is quite sad. Sejun tells him that they can just bring back the cherry tomato leaves from the cave and cover the field again. Mama Bear tells him that she will expand her territory and start patrolling more actively near the border starting today. Sejun thanks her but still asks her not to overdo it, stating that being safe and healthy is the most important thing. As Mother Bear leaves, Sejun says that the best thing is that no one was hurt, and he is satisfied with that. However, he knows that they need to take more safety measures. He thinks that he definitely needs the power to defend himself, and the bear cub looks at him curiously. But do you know what I think everyone needs? Raid Shadow Legends on their smartphone. You must already know about the global hit RPG game played by over 80 million people around the world. The console-level graphics it provides, mobile phones, and the multitude of champions and gameplay styles it boasts. If you think that they are the only things that make Raid so popular, you probably don't know about the wonderful stories and tales that adorn this game. In the thousands of years of Telluria's history, there have been numerous events and many champions. Perhaps the greatest figure in this history is the Arbiter, the most beloved servant of goddess Lumea, the immortal protector of Telluria, fighting an endless war against their enemies. Arbiter protected Telluria from the demons of Siroth for centuries, but ultimately, her glory faded. The great kingdoms she fought for fell into ruin, and the goddess's favorite warrior was obscured as times changed. People forgot her, but she never stopped doing her duty. Through the eons, Arbiter found worthy heroes to lead into the battle against their enemies and help to keep the forces of Siroth at bay. Even though she is a mere shadow of her prime now, her desire to save the world from the ever-growing darkness is undeterred. Arbiter is a legendary support Void Affinity champion from the High Elves faction, and you cannot go wrong with putting her on your team. Find her and other champions who can save Telluria from its doom. Read their captivating stories and become a part of their world. Moving on from the mesmerizing lore, you should also know that Raid's latest update is all about you and your clan showing off just how great you are with your own super cool, customizable clan logo. Apart from that, there are going to be some Prime drops in the game this month, and Amazon Prime members can earn themselves some special in-game goodies. With all of this exciting stuff and more coming to Raid, if you haven't started playing yet, then what are you waiting for? Click my link in the description or scan the QR code to get insane bonuses available only via my link. We are talking an epic champion Talia from the Scared Order faction, and other useful things like energy refills and skill tones. Once you're in and crushing your enemies, come find me under the name Solo Farmer, and if you're fast enough, you can join my clan. So, just hit the link in the description and I'll see you on the battlefield." After that, Sejin stays out of the cave for the time being. The rabbits cover the cocoon of the queen bee with green onion leaves to protect it from direct sunlight. It is kept on a comfy cushion in a tiny bed made from green onion leaves, too. Sejin thanks the rabbits for their help and tells them that he will see them later as they go back into the cave. He is sitting under a giant onion leaf umbrella on a chair made from the same material. Today is the day the queen honeybee cocoon will finally hatch, and contrary to what we were led to believe earlier, the cocoon was not with Theo, but Sejin had it the entire time. Sejin has taken a day off to watch over the cocoon hatch, and he has left the farming to the rabbits. According to the system, he will need to watch the cocoon hatch to reap the ultimate benefits. In the description of the poison bee queen's cocoon, it was clearly mentioned that the first person the queen bee will see will be recognized as the owner. Currently, the number of bees inside the cave has already reached 200, and it is still rapidly increasing. Sejin eats dried sweet potato strips as he thinks that if the second queen bee that hatches today grows her hive outside the cave, it would expand his power. An outdoor hive under his control would be enough to deter any intruders from entering the area and prove a good defense mechanism. The hatching of the cocoon takes longer than expected, and Sejin is feeling sleepy waiting for it. He realizes that taking a break from farming for the first time in a while has made his body go lax, and he was feeling sleepy because of that. Sejin picks up 2 kinds of flowers he has brought, and he plans to gift them to the newly hatched queen poison bee so that they get along when they meet for the first time. He wonders what kind of flowers she would like better out of the 2 options he has, tomato flowers or sweet potato flowers. He thanks the queen bee for being born in advance, but he has already hit his limit and falls asleep. As Sejin is in deep sleep, the cocoon starts showing signs of change. It begins to shake and crack, and then it starts shining brightly. The bright light of the cocoon hatching is blocked partially by the leaves covering it, and Sejin does not notice it. The light then subsides, and a tiny bee arm comes out from under the leaves. The newly hatched, adorable queen bee throws the leaves away as she sits in her comfy bed and stretches. She is a second-generation queen poison bee, and she looks at herself for the first time. The bee then turns around and notices her wings flapping. She strains herself as she tries to control their flapping and manages to lift herself up in the air. The bee then flies to the sleeping Sejin, and she is stunned to see his face. That was what was needed for her to identify him as her master, and the system displays the message that the second-generation queen poison bee has regarded tower farmer Sejin as her owner. The bee gets on his chest as she happily exclaims, but he is not getting up to hear her. Then she notices the flowers he is holding, and it makes her really happy that her master brought flowers for her. While the new queen bee is watching the flowers, her mother comes flying out of the cave to see her. The original queen bee greets her, and the new one is perplexed. The first-generation queen bee tells her daughter everything she needs to know about Sejin, basically stating that he was her daddy, and she understands. Then the 2 queen bees take to the sky and frolic around over Sejin. There, the second-generation queen bee bows before her mother to thank her for everything she told her, and then flies straight to Sejin. She snuggles with him while he is sleeping, and he wakes up only after she has flown away. Sejin is immediately shocked as he wakes up when he sees the system messages in front of him that state that the queen poison bee has hatched and recognized him as her owner. Thanks to that, the proficiency of his beekeeping skill had increased, and its level had increased. However, Sejin is stumped because he missed it all. He looks around, wondering where the queen poison bee is because she is not in her bed, and he fears that she has disappeared. On the other hand, Ox number 3 has reached his territory, and he shows the green corn leaves to his boss. The boss finds it hard to believe that such juicy grass was found abandoned on the land bordering their territory. The Ox number 3 reaffirms what he just said. The boss, the Black Minotaur, thinks that this is a different type of grass from what they have seen the previous time, and by that, he means the sweet potato. He claims that this grass is something he has never seen before and deems it too small to be shared with others. However, Ox number 3 apologizes to his captain, signaling towards his stomach that he could not control himself, and ate it himself. The Black Minotaur cannot do anything but forgive his underling, as it is their instinct as minotaurs to have a big appetite. Then he tastes the corn leaf, and the first thing he notices is its sweet smell. Just as he gets a taste of the leaf, he is overwhelmed and feels like firecrackers are bursting in his taste buds. He exclaims that the grass is too tasty and is making him overflow with energy. The Black Minotaur compliments Ox number 3, saying that he did it, but he is taken aback by his suddenness. The boss says that if they had a lot of grass like this, they might even be able to bring back prosperity to their barren land. Now, he is curious as to what is going on in the forest area. As long as he knew, the forest was an abandoned place, and now this type of sweet grass was found there. The Black Minotaur predicts that some changes are taking place on the 99th floor without his realizing it. If it were up to him, he would like to go to the forest himself and secure as many plants as possible. But he cannot mindlessly leave the waypoint unguarded, especially because he does not know how much grass is actually there in the forest. The Black Minotaur says that since the time for which he can be away from the waypoint is limited, he will have to think of another way. He once again commands the stumped ox number 3 to go and find the exact source of the grass he brought just now. He believes that if it were just lying on the floor, there would be more of it there. He commands him to find out the identity of the person behind it if it was grown intentionally. But ox number 3 wants to say something before accepting the mission. He says that before he accepts the mission, he would like to take a short nap. He feels sleepy and informs his captain that he ate a lot after a long time, and that is why he is getting a rush of food coma. The Black Minotaur is not going to let him slack around, and he shoos him away by brandishing his axe, and ox number 3 runs away immediately. Meanwhile, Theo is on the 38th floor, and he greets the humans eagerly awaiting his arrival. They rush towards him and ask him why he was so late. Theo smugly apologizes, stating that something came up that made him late. But he informs the humans that, to make up for that, he is selling special magic cherry tomatoes today. The hunters ask him what he meant by that, because magic cherry tomatoes are already special. Theo tells them that this time, they are better than ever before. He takes out a cherry tomato and loudly declares that this time, he has brought a D-grade magic cherry tomato for sale. The information window of the cherry tomato clearly displays its grade and the improved shelf life, and the hunters are shocked to see that. However, Suha is still only focused on how cute Theo looks. Kim Dongshik and his Phoenix Guild take the tomatoes and read their information window in detail to find that D-grade cherry tomatoes break down 20 grams of fat, and the mana boosting effect has also doubled along with the shelf life. Dongshik is astonished to see the D-grade cherry tomatoes for the first time. He thinks that this way, he can eat and store the equivalent of twice as many cherry tomatoes as before. Theo then draws out the buckets filled with cherry tomatoes and declares that today he will be selling them in lots of 400 units each, and a total of 2,000 magical cherry tomatoes. The bidding immediately starts, and the price rises to 90 tower coins for 400 tomatoes before Theo declares that the first batch has been sold. After selling everything, Theo gets the money for his sale. He happily cradles the money pouches, saying that with this trade, his total trade volume has reached over 1,000 tower coins. He is overjoyed that he can finally become a veteran wandering merchant. Theo laughs, saying that once he becomes a veteran wandering merchant, the restrictions on the description of the items he sells will be removed, and then he won't need to hide them from Sejun anymore. Then, Suha approaches him for a picture, and the overconfident Theo says that he shall move on to the next business as a veteran wandering merchant. He arrogantly tells the humans to form a line before him to touch his paws and give him the reward for that. But he is stumped when he sees that there is no one but Suha in front of him. Theo is shocked and asks her why she was alone as he looks around. He wants to know if there is really no one else here, and Suha replies that it was because he took so long to come, so the people waiting for him had no choice but to go down the tower. Theo is stunned to hear this, and this is the first time he realizes that there were fewer people at the auction too. Suha tells him not to be disappointed and says that she will give him churros, but it doesn't seem to work on Theo, who is in a slump and says that his pride cost him. He is upset because he wanted to earn a lot of things for Sejun and gain more sales cat time. He looks at his front paw, believing that it is not his lucky charm anymore. However, just then, 2 girls come to him, and they exclaim that they can finally meet the wandering merchant cat. They fawn over him, calling him cute, and then confirm if he is the wandering merchant Theo, with whom they can take pictures. Theo is confused and asks them how they know that, and the girls exclaim that they saw him on Instagram, clicking a selfie with Suha. The girls also want to click a picture with him, but Theo is more interested in knowing about Instagram. His eyes gleam as he senses that there could be a great deal of money waiting for him somewhere along this route. He confidently stretches his paw out, telling the girls that if they want to click a picture with him, they need to give him a reward. With this, the chapter ends. It was full of good news for everyone. The new queen bee hatched and recognized Sejun as her owner, even though he has not seen her yet. The Minotaurs have found hope for food outside their barren wasteland. And Theo has finally hit the 1,000 tower coin mark, which will allow him to level up as a merchant. However, what exactly is the jackpot he thinks he has hit? Let us find the answers to this and other questions in the next video. Leave a like and a comment, and meet us next time. I hope there is no need to remind you to download Raid Shadow Legends using my link, but I will do that just in case.